How many of you have Italian grandmothers? Italian. Yes, thank you. How many of you have Lebanese grandparents? Okay, never mind. How many of you have Irish grandparents? Now, okay, all of our grandparents, but I only thought it was Lebanese. But you answer this question. Is it in your grandmother's DNA that she feeds you beyond the possibility of eating any more? Who does not have a grandmother that does that or did that? No one. So it's every nationality. People always say, oh, Italian grandmothers, they like to feed. All of them do. But my grandmother was Lebanese. And as usual, she needed to feed you until it was coming out of your pores. And it was never enough. And one day highlights this. We would stay overnight at her house. We'd go to Mass in the morning with her. She went every day, and every day she went out to breakfast with the ladies. And so we went out to breakfast, 2 young boys with all these old ladies, and it was the most awesome time. We would sit there for 3 hours while they drank a cup of coffee and had toast. But we would have to order something big, and then she would look at us and say, what, no bacon and sausage, no scrapple? Get something else. So we'd have to eat there. And then immediately after, we'd go to Musser's Market, right down the road in Columbia, and we'd get lunch or get something else, some more food. But that day was a Saturday, and she was going to go out to lunch with the ladies from St. Peter's in Columbia. And we went out to lunch to Hong Kong Gardens in Lancaster. Hong Kong Gardens is good, isn't it? I know it. Governor Chicken there is excellent. So we had a nice lunch. And then after that, across the street from Hong Kong Garden is a Dunkin' Donuts. And my grandmother said, oh, I'd love a French crawler, one of those donut things. So we went in there and had a donut. And then on the way back into Columbia, we stopped because she wanted a baby cone from Dairy Queen. And then we had dinner. Hot dogs and beans over mashed potatoes. Oh, it was so good. I have never eaten so much in my entire life. But this is who she was. This is how she expressed her love to us. I'm going to feed you until you can't eat anymore. And if you can't eat anymore, something's wrong with you. That's how she thought. Brothers and sisters, today we have a similar circumstance. Jesus is expressing his love for the people who came out to the middle of nowhere to see him. Earlier, last week, there were people who came out to him in the middle of nowhere, and he said they were like sheep without a shepherd. Well, today, he too meets people who were completely lost. They were there to hear him. They just wanted to be with him, but he knew that they're out in the middle of nowhere, and 200 days' wages couldn't feed some of them, according to the apostles. But Jesus did what he does, which is supply in abundance. And that's what he did for those people. He showed them his love by supplying out of what he wanted to give, and to show them that he not only loved them enough to give them what they needed, but he loved them enough to give them more than they needed, so that they would get the idea that he loved them. And so, brothers and sisters, today we come here not to be filled with just what we need to get through today, just what we need to get through this week, just what we need to get through this month. We come here today to get what we need to carry us straight through to eternity. That's an abundance. And you know what? We asked for it. We asked for it in that opening song. Rain down your love on us. Rain down, not just like drizzle it down. Rain down, pour it out on me. In that opening prayer, we ask that he show us his mercy in abundance. Not just, hey God, give me your mercy to help clear away just this one sin. But pour out your mercy on me so that all of my sins are healed. We ask for that in confession. When even the worst possible sin ever to be committed in the history of the world can be not only absolved and cleared away, but completely destroyed by the cross. And when we come here to Holy Communion, when every venial sin is wiped away by the precious body and blood of our Savior, that is an abundance that meets those sins, not just enough. We ask for it, even though he doesn't need to give it. St. Thomas Aquinas wrote a beautiful Eucharistic hymn, God in Hidden Majesty. In part of it he says, "Give, O Jesus, to me a sinner, in your blood, just a single drop of which is given all the world from all its sin to save." A single drop from the cross of Jesus' blood is enough to have saved 119 billion people, or however many people have walked this earth from the beginning till the end. One drop. And yet today he will pour out for us on this altar his body and blood in abundance so that you and I can receive all that we need for eternity. A drop for all of history. And what are we given here today? Everything that we need to storm through to eternity. That is an abundance. There's a beautiful prayer, the Anima Christi. We say, blood of Christ, it's a strange wording, inebriate me. Like overwhelm me. Make me so full that I know you are with me, that I know you love me. Not just enough that, okay, it's going to get me through, but enough that I know you are with me, that I know you have saved me. An abundance. Brothers and sisters, maybe some of us have heard about what happened at the Olympics yesterday. That someone would perhaps use the Last Supper to make a mockery of it in some way. Some people say he didn't, but it's clear that to me that something happened. But brothers and sisters, the reaction from Catholics is, oh, that we need to fight back. Fight back how? Here's how we fight back. That we take the abundance that we have received here at this Mass and live it in abundance when we leave here. That we live in an abundance for our God. That we live in an abundance when we take extra time to pray. To me, this is a reminder that I have failed. That I have not lived in an abundance of who I have received. If people want to make fun of the Last Supper, it's not God's fault. It's that people do not see the Last Supper living in me. It's that people do not see Jesus Christ living in me. It's that I'm no different than anybody else. I'm certainly not better, but that I don't live differently. And maybe that's for you and me both. Maybe who we receive in abundance here today needs to change how we treat other people or how we talk about other people. Maybe it needs to change what websites we go to. Maybe it needs to change how we help those in need. Maybe it needs to change how we worship our God. Brothers and sisters, the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Has anyone been to the Carrier Dome at Syracuse University? If you go to a basketball game there's like 33,000 people in this dome for a basketball game. And when you go to a game, at the end of it, so much energy is in that building, because it's a kind of a strange dome, that when you go to leave and you open the door, you get thrown out because of the energy buildup inside. You literally get pushed out, not just by angry Syracuse fans who probably lost, but by just the force of what is inside. Brothers and sisters, today you and I receive an abundance of God's love and his mercy. It should throw us out of this building with his love and his mercy so that we can live it, so that it changes us, so that we can be with him in this life, but most importantly, be with him forever, with everyone around us who sees an abundance of Jesus Christ living in you and in me. Praise be Jesus Christ, King of the universe.